All right, welcome YouTube viewers, the Home Tech Podcast. We'll get started here in just a minute. Jim Collison, and we will get started here in just a few minutes. If you're watching this part on YouTube, it just means I didn't cut it off yet. I haven't gone out and taken it out, but this is just a few minutes of pre-show until we start 8 o'clock. Hopefully you'll head out to theaverageguy.tv/live and join us over there. Wow, we could start a minute early. I should just get started. Let's do that. I don't think Andrew's going to be with us tonight. All right, we are show 102, and today is the 10th. I should have gotten some more water. Maybe I could holler at somebody and they'll give me more. That's all I've been doing is drinking water. I've been talking so much. I was listening to a podcast for podcasters. And one of the recommendations was, if you're going to start podcasting and you're going to be on the mic very long, make sure you have ample water around you. And man, that's never been more true than this week. So, all right, let's get started. This is the Home Tech Podcast, show number 102, recorded on January 10th, 2013. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from the AverageGuy.tv studios here in Bellevue, Nebraska, and we post the show each week with world-class show notes out at theaverageguy.tv. If you have questions, comments, or contributions, you can contact the show via email. Send it to me, podcast@theaverageguy.tv. You can track me down on Twitter. It's just @jcollison, or you can even follow the show schedule on Twitter. That's just @theaverageguy.tv, all one word. If you are new to podcasts and you're looking for an easy way to listen each week, you might want to consider using Stitcher, available for both Android and iPhone platforms. It's a great way to listen to podcasts, both at home and on the road. Of course, the show and all the past shows are on Stitcher. Stitcher.com, search for Home Tech. It's education for your ears. If you actually go out to AverageGuy.tv and look on the right-hand toolbar, all the shows are available, and they have links for both iTunes, RSS, and for Stitcher. So you don't even have to do that to go out to Stitcher and search. You can just click on it. It'll automatically send you to Stitcher. Open that up, and you can also subscribe. Once you get to Stitcher, you'll have to create a username and ID, but you can subscribe to the podcast, and you'll get it each and every week. It is streaming, so you don't have to worry about downloading it to anything. You can also view and subscribe to the show on YouTube, or catch the show each week live. That's right now, 8 p.m. Central, over at theaverageguy.tv/live. And don't forget to click on the Amazon affiliate link. I got a little feedback this week. Somebody had trouble finding that. It's a dynamic link from Amazon, and it's always flashing different Amazon products. Just look for anything with the word Amazon on it and click on it. And when you do that, we take the little commission that we make off of it, and we recycle that back into giveaways. And we have a giveaway coming up here in February. So if you're buying from Amazon, it doesn't cost you any more. Click on the link, and it helps out the average guy. It helps the average guy give some I shouldn't say it that way, give some stuff away. Reminder that also during the show, if you want to use Twitter, or even after the show, if you want to comment about something on the show, use the hashtag tag. So hashtag, the number sign, big TAG, all caps, and then the show number right behind it. This would be show number 102. So if you want to use Twitter to do that, get it done that way. All right, it's been a busy week for me. If you're just joining us for the Home Tech Podcast, where the heck have you been? We did CES coverage all week, starting Sunday at 5 p.m. Central, and we went all the way through 5 p.m. Central today. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 days. I don't know how many hours that is, but it's a lot. And it wasn't 24/7, so it wasn't anything like that. But we did a lot of coverage. We did Dave on the ground. I did it from the studios here. Dave is on the ground, and if you don't know, CES is the Consumer Electronics Show. It's in Las Vegas every year. The last couple of years I had gone. Last year we tried starting it from the studios here, or hosting it from the studio here. And we sent Dave out there, and some really good coverage and some stuff that you're probably going to want to catch up on. I will take some of that material out of CES and make some podcasts out of it and put it in this Home Tech channel. So if you subscribe to it, over the next couple weeks, you might get double podcasts during the week, as I'm going to take some of those interviews that we did and some of the group hangouts and just publish them as podcasts. So some of them turned out really well, and I want you to hear them. So you might hear those come through. You just might double up. So just kind of get ready for that. It's okay. Take it to work. Listen to it on your bike, something. Get it listened to, and there'll be lots of good stuff out there as well. If you just can't wait for that, it's all available on the YouTube channel over at the Home Server Show. So go to youtube.com/Home Server Show. and all the back video that's out there is available, and so get that done. We're going to talk a little bit about CES, but before I do that, I want to quickly introduce the guests and welcome them here all the way to my left, and in a disaster zone where natural disasters are an everyday occurrence. Bill Paulmenn. Bill, how are you?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. Doing well. Thanks for coming in. Any storms in the last 2 weeks that we should know about?
Only thing you should know about is it's going to be 63 on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
And
all
something's really weird going on.
Yeah, well, it's global warming. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Hey, don't complain. It's going to be nice.
That's right.
And then next to him, behind bios-mods.com and the brains behind theaverageguy.tv, and the owner of some super-duper equipment there in his own private network at home, Christian Johnson. Christian, how are you?
I'm doing well. Not too much to report. There are some secret inner things that are underway that may result in news in the months to come here. But for now, all is quiet.
All right. We'll stay dark.
Okay.
At this point. So some both exciting news from what you're doing with your home network as well as where you're going to go to school, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we'll come back to that and let you announce that when we're ready to do that. And then all the way to my right, and actually I'm pointing at him right now, all the way to my right and from Brisbane, Australia, Renny Phipps. How are you, Renny?
I'm well, Jim. Really good. Good to get back to some warm weather. It's actually a week ago today that we got back. Flew back direct from Washington to LA and then home. It was a long day traveling. Missed Thursday completely.
Yeah.
But no, we had a great time.
Yeah. Did you take? So you were in the U.S. for a month. What kind of tech did you bring with you when you came over here? I mean, what are the essential tech items that you have to bring with you when you come that far?
Well, I relied basically on an iPhone and an iPad. I made the decision a while ago that I was going to use iOS for mobile. So,
okay.
And for the most part, that worked pretty well. I had a portable hard drive with me, so I was getting photos. Whenever I got to use a PC, I was getting photos off my camera and making sure I had a duplicate copy of them, and uploading as much as I could to SkyDrive or Dropbox or whatever else I was using at the time. So I didn't want to lose the photos, so to speak.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But no, tech-wise, I just relied basically on those two.
Very cool. So that tech-wise, you traveled fairly light. Chargers. Do you have extra batteries or anything? To go in, because neither of those devices you can change the batteries out. Do you buy external batteries just in case to plug into if you need extra power?
No, I didn't need it really. It's
okay.
Fine.
Yeah, for CES last year, Dave and I, or 2 years ago, we bought these Energizer extra battery packs that have USB ports on them here, and you can get 3 or 4 charges on your phone out of them. I forget the model number on this one. It's a XP4001 from Energizer. You know what? This has been a great tool for me to have, especially on the road, and when I'm burning a lot of video off my phone, that drains the battery in a heartbeat, and so these kinds of batteries are pretty cool. So Dave had 2 of them this week at CES strapped to the monopole, and was flipping. He'd run one down and flip over to the other, and pretty handy. But you were able to get through your trip, no battery then, I take it.
No, the camera I got, it's a Lumix. The battery just lasts and lasts and lasts. It's great.
Okay.
The iPhone, I get a day out of it. That was about it. The iPad, I only used it back in the hotel room anyway for a bit of Skyping and.
Yeah, we got a chance to Skype
so.
when you were there. I think you were in Chicago, and we got a chance to talk. Or was it Vegas? Yeah, that's
Vegas,
right. It was, yeah, we got a chance to talk. That was very cool. Thanks for checking in. You did the best job ever of coming to the United States and meeting tons of people that you've met online, right? I mean, this is just show folks you've corresponded with. I mean, it seemed like every time I saw you, you were meeting with somebody different.
Well, I tried anyway. I tried.
Yeah.
But, I would never forgive myself. I went all that way and didn't say hi to a few folks. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, great. That's awesome. I applaud you for that. I was gonna try and meet you in Chicago, and that's about 8 hours for me from here. And while I drove 12 hours to make a home server show meetup or 10 hours to do a home server show meetup in Indianapolis. That weekend, I could not get myself to Chicago. So I'm glad you had a good time, and that the weather was pretty good for you while you were here, right? You didn't really have any problems with weather while you were here?
One day of drizzle in Chicago, that was it.
Okay.
The rest of it was great.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, so light tech there, and your iPhone and your iPad got you through the trip, and you didn't have to carry a bunch of gear with you then.
Yeah, that was it. That was all I had. The only problem we ran into was in the hotel in New York. Apparently, the Time Warner cable went down for like a week, a whole week.
Oh, geez.
And no TV, no in-room wireless or anything. So, but I bought a $50 SIM card from T-Mobile, which was good for a month for calls and text and
oh, nice,
and internet, and that got us through. That was fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you came out, and I wish we could have seen you, but I know a lot of guys did get to see you. But we welcome you back home, and it's good to have you on the podcast kind of right after you got back. So welcome back.
Terrific. Yeah.
A couple show announcements I want to make just right off the bat before we go too far. Just a couple show notes. One, Mario Blandini is going to join us. Many of you know him as the Drobo guy, and of course you know I'm a Drobo fan. I'm just going to say it. I like the Drobo. So Tim, you can put $signs in chat right now. Mario Blandini from Drobo will be on the show next week. We're going to talk to him about the new 5N that's out. And the Drobo with some solid state memory in it, and we're gonna pin him down on some drive speeds and kind of where Drobo's going and what new things are going. So you might want to tune in next week. I think that's the 17th. Yeah, next week the 17th, same time, and we'll talk with him. We're also going to do a meetup the week of the 28th here in the Omaha area. So if you're in Omaha, Lincoln, or anywhere close. Mario's coming out, and we thought we would try to get together here in Omaha, and Drobo said they'd buy the first drinks and the appetizers. So if you think you might be in the area, there's probably just a handful of you. If you think you can make a meetup, send me an email, podcast@theaverageguy.tv, and we'll set that. I'll give you all the details on where and when and what time. We'll take some pictures and post them up, too. Once I have a firm date, I'll post that out on the front of The Average Guy. .tv. And then one last thing, Monday the 24th, I think that's the right date, January 24th, we're having Ray Ortega, and Ray is a media guy. He does podcasting about podcasting, which is very cool. And kind of a one-off podcast, no guests, just Ray and I, and we're doing an interview. We will do that live, and so it'll be, I think we're going to do that 8 p.m. on Monday, the 24th of January. And I'll have some more details about that as well out on theaverageguy.tv. All right, let's talk some tech, guys. That's what we do each week, and we like to get into a little bit of it. I want to start with a little tip. Renny, you've got a tip, and it sounds pretty impressive. It's called God Mode. So I've never used this before. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's been a feature of Windows for quite a while, as I understand it, but I only came across it a couple of months ago. It's what it does is just gives you access to basically all the options that are available in Control Panel in one screen. So you're not diving down through menu after menu trying to find what it is you want to do. And it's dead easy to set up. I suggest you Google it, but I'll put the instructions in the chat shortly. But basically, you just create a new folder, call it God Mode, then a bunch of numbers, and it gives you access to all these variables that are available. And I can show you if I can share the screen.
Yeah, do that. Christian, you ever use God Mode?
Yeah, I did have it activated once. I mean, I didn't particularly have any need for it, but it was pretty cool.
You didn't see that, did you?
No. But as you're doing that, Renny, I'll also mention another handy tool in that is, if you're on Windows 8 and you do Windows key X, especially when you're on the if you got a keyboard attached to it, it brings up all the settings that have disappeared from the Windows 8 start screen. So if you know all that, the control panel and all that stuff, Windows X brings those up. So it's another shortcut to kind of get some of those power features out of Windows X. Windows 8. Oh, there we go. Let me highlight that so it goes full screen. There we go.
Yeah, so there's about it's almost 300 things you can do just on this one screen, and it's all alphabetical, so it's pretty easy to find out what it is you want to do without, as I said, diving through 3 or 4 menus to find the option you're looking for to turn on or off or alter or whatever else.
Very cool. Yeah, that's kind of a power user feature in some ways, but yet the average guy could take advantage of it if you don't want to drill in and have to find out where it's at. They're all listed here. Renny, we'll provide that in the show notes for folks, the instructions on how to get that done. And I just got a Skype from Andrew. He said he didn't get an invite, and he said he's going to get a complex real soon. So hold on, let me get Andrew in here. Maybe I invited Andrew Edney and not Andrew Morris. That would have been bad. So, or I bet because it was from Dave, it threw him off. So let's get him in here real quick while we're doing that. The beauty of doing a live show. All right, we'll include that in the show notes, and then
Mike Martis has just posted a link in there in the chat too.
Oh, so. Good. If you can grab it for me and throw that in the show notes, that'll help when we're doing show notes. All right, there he is, Andrew. I'm sorry. I hope maybe I invited Andrew Edney and not Andrew Morris. That could be. I'm using Dave's account. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
He's got to do that unmute thing.
Oh yeah, you're muted, Andrew.
Talk to the mute button. Yeah, haven't been doing this long, working with computers, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, not like you haven't been on every episode since the beginning or anything like that. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
Good. Well, welcome.
Sleepless nights aren't too bad, so that's good.
Oh, good. Kids are sleeping okay?
Yeah.
Good. Well, welcome. Do you have access to the show notes?
Yeah, I should do.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right, Renny, you'd want to talk about. You said you wanted to review and consolidate your home tech for easier efficiency.
Yeah, basically for the last 12 months, I've just been piling stuff into the house, for various tasks and to do various things, and I've got hardware all over the place at the moment, and the other thing too is I seem to be a collector of apps lately. In the last 12 months, I've got all these apps together that all do little things that either help me around the house or when I'm away, getting access to the home network and doing, whether it's streaming content or recording TV shows. And I just want to, stand back for a little bit and just do a total assessment of all the gear I've got and all the apps I've got and try and streamline things a bit, because I've got apps that I used once and then forgot about and don't even know what they do anymore. So
right.
I want to just take some time out and do a good hard look and a spring clean and get things up and rolling properly again.
Yeah, last week on last week's episode of the show, John Zadler was talking about some things that you do at the beginning of the year. Some check out your subscriptions. Do you still need to be getting all these email subscription stuff coming in? Check the battery in your smoke detector. But Renny, maybe that's a good point. Beginning of the year, kind of go through both your software and your hardware inventory. I've got, behind me, you can't see it, it's off camera, but I just got a ton of junk, computer junk over here that probably needs to make its way to Best Buy. If you didn't know, if you're here in the U.S., Best Buy isn't, I shouldn't say this too loud, Best Buy isn't great for a lot of things, but what they are good at is to recycle things, especially computer equipment. So if you're in the United States and you've got a Best Buy near you, I don't know about the small stores, but the larger ones, you can just drop your stuff off, and they'll take it. They'll take anything. Take CRT monitors. They'll take old stereo equipment. I think they try and recycle some of that and sell it, but the rest of the stuff they're supposed to be recycling properly. So hopefully they are doing that. Bill, when you recycle your stuff, is there a place? How do you get your electronic stuff recycled?
Yeah, what I do is actually the local township has an actual bin just for, taking your electronics and getting it recycled. LCDs to old CRTs to computers.
Yeah.
And every time I throw something in there, I look and I said, boy, I could actually get something out of there. I think that's an old wireless end card. Let me pull that out of there. So I'm
give a little, take a little. Give a little, take a little.
I'm recycling.
You almost need a swap, like a technology swap area where people could bring.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would be cool. What and Andrew, let me ask you. They're in Melbourne. Do you have how do you recycle? Do you have a recycler that? How does that work for you guys?
Yeah, we've got a program through work, so I can just take all my old crap into work and put it in the basement, and someone gets rid of it for us.
There's a company here called Officeworks that's a big retailer. They'll do recycling as well.
Okay.
Yeah, they're similar to Staples.
Okay. Probably just an offshoot of it. It's gotten easier to recycle technology, for sure. Christian, have you guys? How do you? Certainly, you guys generate a ton of techno crap.
Yep.
How do you get rid of it?
It just collects in the man cave, and it gets organized, and all the parts get dismantled, and then when someone brings in this dinosaur computer that is on its last knees, we go, oh, wait a second, this memory chip from 2004 might work. Boop it in, and one less thing in the recycled repository, and one more user happy. So, for the most part, we keep a lot of that stuff pretty well tagged, bagged in the basement. A couple stuff we will curb, and our local town knows how to recycle that correctly. So, like if it was a really old computer case, they would know how to recycle it correctly just by putting it out at the curb. So.
Very cool.
We have a pretty fancy recycling program here. They got and it sounds kind of weird, I guess, because I'm used to it, but apparently a lot of towns don't have recycling bins that they put out each week with their garbage cans. They just put out the garbage cans, and then if they have to do their recycling, they have to drive up to some receptacle to do it. But we actually have these orange boxes that we can put, all of our paper and glass and whatnot, and that gets recycled every week. And then if you specifically put something out separate from either the bin or the garbage can, they basically have a special crew come by and pick it up and either recycle it or trash it based on what they can do with it. So it's pretty cool self-service.
Yeah, we do. They don't take technology stuff. They'll take oil and but we do have recycling bins that work that. It's just for a long time, at least here in Omaha, it was difficult it was difficult. Andrew's starting to recycle right now.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the rubbish that I've got sitting on my shelf here. If anyone needs any PC2 bloody 4200S memory for a laptop, let me know. I've got two 5 meg sticks.
Yeah.
12 megabyte sticks.
I know. I just got too much crap, Renny. I'm with you. I probably need to spend some time this weekend or next, and I need to box some stuff up and just take it to the recycler and be done with it. I just got too much crap. I've got like an old AMD. What would be an original AMD? That'd be like a single core. What did they call those things?
K6.
Yeah, right after those. Like an Athlon, I guess, an early Athlon.
Slot A.
Yeah, just crap. That's still sitting in the motherboard on the workbench in my garage. Yeah, now maybe Christian would make good use of that in something at his house. But
I threw out a Cyrix. I think I threw out a Cyrix CPU when I moved house last time.
Really?
One of those Cyrix 586 CPUs.
And how old would that be?
20-year-old probably.
Oh, jeez.
Worth a lot of money now.
Yeah, I
actually, the Pentium 1 and 2 chips are worth a lot online. If you're looking for particular bus architectures, I know there was one that I was looking at that my physics teacher keeps in one of the displays at schools. That was like $400 to get that exact model with the bus technology, where it had the CPU right on the circuitry, and you slid it down into the slot on the motherboard, and it was actually like, it wasn't the socket CPU design, it was the card design. It was pretty cool.
Geez, I should have kept mine. I could have made $50 on eBay.
Easy. Oh yeah, there's people scavenging for that stuff.
Yeah.
I had an old
66 megahertz CPU for $50.
We have a listener. His name is Justin. He made a comment on one of the posts back on 100, and on show 100. And he's a antique computer guy. He does some blogging around some of the older stuff, and got me thinking about my old Timex Sinclair 1000 that I bought in 1984. Or 83, I think 83, 84. I didn't pay much for it. Those things were pretty cheap, and I held on that thing for about 10 years. And then, like you do anything that's 10 years old, you're like, oh, this is crap. And I got rid of it, and I wish I hadn't now. I mean, I wish I'd kept it. So, I don't know. So I got this Pentium 4 sitting here, this machine that I haven't turned on in a year. I should probably just hold on to it because it could be worth something, right? Is that what you're saying? I mean, maybe not.
I don't think I'm going to be throwing out too much, but more the issue for me is just sort of getting everything talking to each other and
okay.
Being controlled and whatnot. I mean, I've got old Asus motherboards all over the house at the moment. They're wherever I dropped them last time, it's still where they are. But I've got to certainly do a bit of tech tidy up in terms of hardware. But
yeah.
I've even got issues with cloud storage. I've got Dropbox accounts. I've got SkyDrive accounts. I've got an S3 account, and now what was that sale you guys have? Black Friday. I got in. I bought Crash Plan as well, so I got to sort that mess out.
You got about 8 different ways to back up your stuff.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm using all of them, so I don't know what's where anymore.
Well, hopefully everything is everywhere, so you don't have to do that. I did that during the Christmas break. I got Crash Plan all set up to back up everything. So that's now set up and backing up 100% of my stuff, as well as, and I wrote a post about this out at theaverageguy.tv. I think it's backing up all your stuff with 123 backup or something silly like that. And you can see what I wanted to do was be able to use every free service I can to back up little bits of my stuff. Because you don't get enough free to start with to do everything, but you can spread it out. So that's what I did, and then I used Crash Plan to back up everything. So not a bad idea. Go through some of your digital stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a way, say, to move stuff between an Amazon account and say Dropbox or Crash Plan without it actually having to hit your home network.
We were just talking about that. You must have heard us talk about that during the CES coverage. I think I was talking about that with somebody who, maybe it was Zadler. I don't know. Who did I have on? Chris? Anyways, so here's the idea, right? The if this then that service, right? IFTTT. So they do that for all your social services. So if I get an email, I want you to automatically reply to it and send it to Twitter or whatever, right? They have all these recipes that are set up to be able, if this happens, do that. And I thought it'd be nice if there was a service like that where it said, if it goes to Dropbox, then move it, and if I could sync it between Dropbox and say SkyDrive, without, like you said, without it having to hit your home network, because bandwidth's important for you guys, right?
Cloudberry does
very
that,
much so.
Say that again, Andrew.
Cloudberry does it, I think. They've got a cloud migration product, which is in beta in their lab offering, I think.
But what does that mean? I mean, what does it actually do?
So you can migrate data between, I've just pulled it up now, Amazon S3, Amazon Glacier, Windows Azure Blob Storage, whatever the hell that is, Rackspace, Cloud Files, and FTP. I guess it looks like it's one of those things that'll probably get more capacity into it at some point in time. I'll throw the link out in the chat.
Yeah, I can't see there's a lot of advantage to some of these free services to make those links happen. They're not going to want to do that. So that I imagine that would be tough. But I don't know. It's a good idea, Renny. I don't know. I don't know how practically you implement it, but it would be nice to sync. Say, hey, I want Box.com and Dropbox.com to sync. So I move it to Dropbox, and then it automatically syncs over to another cloud service.
Mm.
Anyway, I'll have a look around and see what I can find. But otherwise, it's all being uploaded from here, and it's going to take a month. So
if you're out in chat, or you're listening live, or you're listening to the recorded version of it, you got some kind of idea on how to do that, jump out to the Facebook group. Go out to facebook.com/groups/theaverageguy, and you join that group and put the answer out there. We're all in that, so you can put your answer out there, or Renny should post that as a question in the Facebook group as well. All right, let's talk a little bit about CES. We just came. I noticed I didn't come off the top of the hour about that because I didn't want to really just dive right in with CES. But all of you have been following, I think, trying to, anyways, follow what went on at CES. Dave and I spent the last 5 days covering it just as much as we could from about 1 p.m. till about 10 p.m. each night. Lots of coverage. If you want to see that video, go out to homeservershow.com/ go out to youtube.com/homeservershow. It's starting to just blend. Somebody put that will it blend in chat, and it's starting to blend in my mind. Bill, I want to start with you. I know you're behind on the coverage, but anything in particular from CES that you were looking for or that you were watching for?
Well, and not that I was watching for, but I was driving home, and I was streaming it to my iPhone into my truck, and you guys had Samsung, the keynote, playing. And I thought that was really interesting what they were doing. It wasn't just, granted, the TV idea is great, where they're going to take the core, the CPU, and the GPU. You're going to take that out of your 2011, and you can upgrade that TV. As long as the panels don't go to 4K or whatever, the panel's still basically the same. The technology's not going to change unless you go to OLED or something of that nature. But the horsepower and the smart TV and that type of stuff, you can upgrade. And I thought that was really ingenious. And I think they can probably get their profit margins back using that, because the panels aren't making them any money. So I thought that was a pretty ingenious way to start getting their margins back.
Yeah, tons of TV traffic at CES. They debuted a curved TV. 4K was all over the place. We spent a bunch of time talking about TVs a little bit last night. If you go back to those videos, Chris Barnes and folks, Mike Howard, I think, we were talking some TVs and resolutions in that, some crazy resolutions that are out there. Christian, does CES even show up on your radar at all? You follow that very much?
I mean, it did in the world where I used to have time, but unfortunately I haven't been able to keep up much with the news. I'll have to go back and watch old stuff. But
okay, yeah, no sweat. Andrew, for you, were you watching for anything, or does it show up in your world either?
It did last year, but this year I just haven't had a chance to scratch myself.
That's great.
Sorry, Australianism coming through. Okay,
I have to write that down.
Ready to go the person that didn't flinch.
Didn't even flinch.
That's hilarious. I like it. And then Renny, for you, anything as you were out there? We got to see you a few times out there. Anything you were following?
Yeah, some of your afternoon coverage I managed to catch, but yeah, I think no real standouts. I mean, I wouldn't mind a fridge where we could do a hangout from a fridge. That sounds pretty cool, but we'll leave the door open.
Yeah.
But no, as a trend, if you like, I mean, everything's about connectivity, and I think a lot of the household connectivity hardware that was on show there from Netgear and Asus and a whole bunch of others, really just about giving you no excuses not to be fully connected at home. That was all good stuff. You can plug something into your power line network and hook speakers up to it. It'll play music. So there's all these options for connectivity throughout the house. If you're not wired, then it doesn't matter anymore. I mean, there's just so many ways to skin that cat.
Yeah. We even saw a power mat or you'd connect to whatever musical, whatever speakers you had, and if the phone was playing, you would just set your phone on the mat, and it would automatically it would amplify from the speaker, and push that out through the whatever device you were using. And I thought that's kind of interesting. The speaker, but the speaker's crap, then is that audio quality going to be that great? So we even saw some stuff at CES where you kind of went, huh? Really? Okay.
Yeah, some of the stuff had pretty obscure use cases, but I mean, companies are using the technology better and better to get. I don't know. You can do anything you want to, basically, is what I'm trying to say, and there's more and more hardware coming up to take advantage of that networking, and that's all good.
Right. We did see a lot of home storage NAS boxes appear, and not from any new names, but the QNAPs and the Synologies and such have some really nice boxes. They have matured. Those products have matured quite a bit. And if you're looking to get into some home storage and backup, Andrew, we've lost Andrew over there. He's completely lost his mind.
I just saw Renny have a drag of his smoke, and I'm just like, he's done it again.
Yeah. Yeah. He will not observe my non-smoking show status.
Find me, Collison, find me.
Yeah. Well, and you guys are on opposite sides, even on the Hangout. Are you that way? Yeah, you're on opposite sides. It's probably good I keep you separated that way.
Yeah, good idea.
It's so. Anyways, a lot of storage, a lot of home storage stuff that came out as well that we covered, and it seems like those NAS boxes are getting better and a little more mature, which is kind of nice. And so the software's getting better on them, and they're getting a little easier for folks to use. So I think we may be heading in a direction. While the Microsoft home server product does not have a life in the future, it's been blended into Windows Server 2012 Essentials. And really priced out of the average consumer's range. I think the average consumer may see, if they want storage that way, they may see something coming to a store near them that resembles a NAS box of some kind that's a little bit easier to use than maybe they were 3 or 4 years ago. So a lot of coverage of the NAS stuff. We're all home server users. So when I say NAS, you guys go, no, I don't want a NAS. Anybody considering moving now off of a server at home and going with a NAS? Anyone?
If I can get decent backup and restore.
Okay. So it's got to be able to do. And does it got to be able to do bare metal backup and restore?
It'd be nice.
Okay.
So if something like Synology or QNAP or
Synology's got some nice software.
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to have a decent look.
Okay. Yeah, you've been a little busy. Anybody else gonna move? I know Christian. I know you're not moving. Bill?
No, I'm stuck.
Okay, you're stuck.
I'm where I'm at.
Christian, you're staying for sure. I know that, right?
Yeah, but we are thinking about going to the 2012 Essentials instead of 2011. But yeah. Yeah, and really, I mean, that's where it lives. Home server lives in there. Renny, you're on 2011 right now, right? You're staying?
No, I'm on 2012, and I'm going back.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You posted that publicly in Facebook.
Why are you going back?
I just can't. It's just I'm in over my head, basically. Short answer. I've been having trouble connecting to it, and just trying to sort of work around the domain type issues and
so
not get.
You don't have it connected to domain?
It is at the moment, but I want to get it all. I just don't need a domain at home. A lot of people don't. And 2011 did everything that I needed to do, so that's where I'm going. I've got a brand new box with a Core i5 and a SSD in it and a rocking motherboard, and I'm going back to 2011.
2011 home server, right? Not 2011 Essentials.
No,
home
small
business server.
Yeah.
Home server.
That home server 2011 is dirt cheap online to buy.
Yeah, it's like $40, right?
Like if you needed a desktop and you didn't feel like paying the $200 for Windows 7, go pick up a home server OEM CD and just fire that baby up.
What's that desktop? Well, I'm rocking Windows Home Server 2011 as my desktop.
But it's like actually for real. What does Home Server 2011 not give you that's on Windows 7? What, Windows Media Center?
Yeah.
That's like the
bad.
only thing I can think of, and it gives you all the web server technology and whatnot. Like that is actually the only thing I can think of. And yeah, occasionally a program may be like, you're not running Windows 7, but I'm sure the compatibility mode takes care of all that.
Yes, you're right, Christian. I mean,
It's so true.
yeah. Rocking the server version on my desktop.
Like I actually, now that I'm thinking of it, I actually can't think of any reason. Like
Are you gonna do
any
it?
major feat? No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe like Windows Aero. I don't think doesn't really do like super graphical Aero stuff, and arguably you wouldn't want. I guess if you didn't want all those services running that are related to Home Server on your desktop, but I mean, I know there's ways when you do the install Windows Home Server where if you stop it at a certain point, it stops it installs like the core operating system and stuff, and then if you break the install point off at a certain reboot, it won't install all the home server packages, and you basically get like this manila server 08 type interface that would be like the ideal thing. But
well, Renny, you're not going to put it on your desktop, are you?
No. I'll stick with Windows 7. I've got a test box, if you like, that I've got Windows 8 running on, and I'm just sort of playing around with that still. I still can't commit to Windows 8, the Neanderthal that I am, but yeah, Windows 7's doing it fine for me at the moment. Maybe later, Windows 8. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on 2011 myself, and I had thought I would make the move to 2012 Essentials as an MVP. I probably should do that at some point. I have it in VM, and I've been testing it and stuff, but it just works, and I don't know if I want to mess around with it at the moment. I mean, it's just another thing to kind of figure out and do and, go full-time on, and it's right now I got a lot of things going on where I'm using my home server box. I've integrated SkyDrive and Box, and let's see what else. I think Amazon is running on there right now, and I've created folders, especially with Dropbox and SkyDrive. I've created special folders on the home server that I don't even run SkyDrive or Dropbox on any PC in the house. It runs on the server, and so when I want to access my SkyDrive, I go to or when I want to access Dropbox, I go to the home server folder that says Dropbox and grab it out of there. And so I have one folder syncing on my network for Dropbox, and I'm not moving. Every time I fire up a computer, it's not trying to sync to Dropbox with all my accounts, and that piece works
it's actually
really,
pretty
really well.
sneaky beaky.
Yeah, that piece works really, really well with these free syncing cloud storage service.
Now, if only Dropbox would take off my 6th month and going, your public links have been temporarily suspended.
We should petition them, Christian, and say he was really sorry that he set up a web server to access those files. Maybe they'll give it back to you.
And it's real. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense because, well, not that, but it makes sense that I can still sync and use it internally, just not the public part. But
yeah. Well, that was a tip. I'm trying to think. I think Mike Fauché gave me that tip on setting those up on the on the home server. But you can do that with any Windows 8 or Windows 7 PC and share it out across the network using like what's the share technology in Windows 7 that I can't remember all of a sudden?
Home
groups. Thank you. You can share it with home groups as well. And then you just have one syncing. So I know with the syncing services, Box, Dropbox, SkyDrive, some of those, that works out really well, so you can try that. I think we even posted on that. You search for it on the averageguy.tv, and we can do that. All right, I want to talk
cool.
a little bit.
The error message changed.
For what?
We've gone to temporary links banned to restricted content. This file is no longer available. Cool.
They should just ban you altogether.
I know. They should just put the final death in the.
It's probably coming up pretty close.
Let's see
for
what
you.
this one does.
The end is near. Hey, there's a lot of stuff going on in the Skype, MSN Messenger world, and I'm going to jam two stories together. We know that Messenger is going. They're going to cease and desist on Messenger, MSN Messenger, starting March 16th or 15th, something like that. I didn't look up that exact date, but basically, if you're still using MSN Messenger right now, anybody using Messenger still here? I wouldn't think so. We've all converted. We've all converted over to Skype for most part. For the most part, I would think. Anybody else running? I mean, besides Skype, from an IM standpoint, are there other major? Which one? Facebook? I don't know. Yeah. Okay, so the Facebook messaging piece of it. Christian, anything you're using besides those two?
Nah, not really.
You Skype a lot, right? With classmates and stuff.
Yeah, Skype is my life.
Yeah, that's kind of where you live. Me too. Bill, do you have any other clients that you use?
No. I'm pretty much sticking with the Skype and Hangouts.
Yeah, and I've been using Google Plus a lot lately to talk to you guys because I can jump in Google Plus and just create a private message between, like tonight I did that between the five of us. And I've been kind of using that. It's not supposed to be used that way, but it works. Right, you can do it. Andrew, any other clients that you're using?
Yeah, I use Link a lot, mostly because of the enterprise. So we've got that federated, so I also talk to people in other Link-enabled organisations.
That would be nice.
I'm still using MSN a little bit, mostly because I still haven't been prompted for the integration with Skype.
Okay.
And I want to merge a non-live account that has my MSN into my Skype, which they don't currently support. So that's going to be a bit of a pain when that happens.
I got it.
And I use ICQ.
Okay. Oh, ICQ. Very nice. Christian?
I gotta admit, I'm kind of happy with Microsoft not messing up Skype, if that makes any sense. The fact that they actually touched something that was well designed and didn't just destroy it.
Yet.
In particular, yeah, right. Yet. Yet is the operative word, but the fact that we made it from version 5 to version 6 without any major catastrophes is a plus, I think. And one of the news bits I was going to cover is that they just rolled out, I think, version 6.1, which gives you full integration with your Outlook contacts in that social bar in like Outlook 2010, for example. So in my Outlook, I have this social connector that lets me tie in like Facebook and LinkedIn. So like if someone sends me an email that I may or may not know, it's pulling my Facebook and my LinkedIn to try and figure out who they are. So oftentimes, like, I'll get first-time contacts that actually, when their email comes in, I'm getting a picture of them either off their Facebook profile or their LinkedIn, and that's kind of cool because it makes it, I don't know, a little bit snazzier. But like, for example, if I pull up an email from my dad, right, in this social bar, I'll see emails he's recently sent, then I can quickly hit a button and see recent Facebook posts made by him, and same thing for when stuff is coming in on my NASA inbox, because oftentimes a lot of the professionals in the community will have LinkedIn accounts associated with their work emails, so that is really helpful to have too. So I guess I'm not sure if it just integrates into that or what the deal is, but apparently it has really nice integration with the contacts feature as a whole. And Skype isn't the only one to make this move. Actually, my Google Voice account just rolled out a new thing called Google Contacts. Originally, Contacts was a little subcomponent of Google Voice, but now they have this dedicated separate app called Google Contacts, and it is a pretty neat way of managing it. I mean, nothing earth-shattering. The one thing that I'm trying to find that I had found last night, and now I'm going back thinking I was going to set it up but can't find it anymore, is that it looked like I was able to pick a contact in my address book and record custom voicemails for each contact. So like if Jim called, he'd get a different voicemail. Kind of, Dad.
I would get an angry voicemail.
So no, you'd get a kind, benevolent, technical spectator.
I thought it'd be like, stop calling me, the website's up.
Hello, Jim. Your website is up. It always has been. Have a pleasant day.
Yeah.
So I really want to find that again because I want to start pulling some fun stuff with that.
Well, the message that users are getting now, I just got the email today. It says we're retiring the existing Messenger service globally, except for mainland China, where Messenger will continue to be available.
Long live
So,
communism. Well,
if you didn't know that, if you're listening to this in China, I wonder if we have any China listeners. If you are in China, let me know. But so you get to keep it. But in bringing the greatest features of Messenger and Skype together. Now,
whoa.
That's what it says. Bringing the greatest features, which in other words, they're just going to leave Skype alone and let everything in Messenger
Pretty much,
die.
because what was a great feature in MSN that Skype didn't have?
I can't think of one.
Like
No
custom themes. That's what's going to show up. Custom skinning. I remember that. You could pick your
and create your own emoticon.
Yeah. That's where it's going.
They were trying to reach the kids.
Yeah.
Let's see. Update to Skype. Let's see. Yeah, it says update to Skype and sign in using a Microsoft account, same as your Messenger ID, and all your Messenger contacts will be at your fingertips. All your fingertips, Andrew. Show us all your fingertips. There we go. You'll be able to instant message and video chat with them just like before, and also discover new ways of staying in touch with Skype on your mobile and tablet. It's a smart move.
Wow.
I mean,
they're basically taking a messaging client and letting you sign into a different one with the same credentials.
Basically, that's it. Yeah, I don't see any other changes going on. But it's time to move over to Skype. Yeah. One of the advantages to moving onto Skype now is, of course, it's on every platform. So Android, iOS, Windows Phone. It's also Windows 8 now. It's everywhere, and it's got link integration. It's actually the link integration with Skype is already there, but it's not as good as it needs to be. And so a lot of organizations that have Link, and you mentioned Link, we are a Link client, but we don't federate like you guys do. So I am pushing hard to get the Skype connector out there, though. So I'd love in my Link to be able to connect with people on Skype. That's all I'm asking for. I don't care about other Link clients and other businesses. I'll call them, right? It's the Skype folks that I do some Skyping for recruiting and stuff at Gallup, and it's horribly convenient to be able to call somebody on Skype, especially for an interview, and be able to see them face to face. And so I'm pushing for that connector. So hopefully that'll come soon.
But you'd be able to Skype out of the enterprise, would you?
Skype is not allowed in our enterprise, and I have a special exception to have it inside. No, really, I do. It's actually official. I know. Listen, you guys know I'm the rebel, and you know I cheat all the time, and I do things. You guys know that, but I actually have official. In this case, I said, hey, I need Skype, and so we don't generally allow that to be installed on people's PCs inside the enterprise.
Yeah, because Skype's a very, very good product at getting its way through a proxy server.
It is.
I was just going to say that. What's the proxy password?
It just tunnels its way right on through.
Yeah, it's exceptionally pervasive. I've found that it'll find its way through a firewall even if it doesn't know it's there. It's that good. Because we had similar restrictions in our enterprise a couple of years ago, and Skype was one of those IM clients that you'd get started up, and the next thing you'd know, it was online and you're talking. God knows how, but it's good. It's
working. No, it's also a little buggy from a security standpoint, or it can be, and so the security guys don't really like Skype very much. I use it when I it's. For most times when I'm talking to college students, that's the best way. We recruit all over the United States, and the best way to talk to them is face-to-face on Skype, and it works really well. So it's been a good tool for me.
Sorry, random curiosity, but I remember last couple of weeks ago you rattled off one or two lists from where you're recruiting from. Do you have a more extensive list of how your company does recruiting from colleges?
How we do it from colleges?
Well, how and what colleges you're targeting and why, basically.
Yeah, well, so we've just started targeting USC in Southern California, and we're looking at UCLA right now. And so the reason why is that they have great tech schools that have great international populations, and it's hard to get the U.S. kids from Southern California to move to the Midwest. But the international students don't care as much. They're like they'll move for the job and not worry about the weather. And so it's their priorities are in a different spot when it comes to working. So USC's been a really strong school. I went down there, a lot of great CES students that with master's degrees down there. So that's why we're in Southern California. And then of course here the Omaha Metro, Lincoln. out at Iowa State. Iowa State has a very strong computer science program that those students are close. Can just, it's just across, it's 4 hours across or 5 hours across from the eastern edge of Iowa to Nebraska. And then Madison, we have an office in Madison, Wisconsin, so we recruit at University of Wisconsin as well. And then, and Christian, if we get other schools where they happen to call or do the ads, that's where Skype comes in, right? It comes in real handy, of not having to fly them in, or just a phone call. I mean, it's just a lot easier to do. It changes the equation when you have video. I've said that a million times, so I don't mean to say it again, but it changes the equation. So, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just targeting specific geographic areas then?
Well, we target areas because we can't handle them all, and so right now we have really good relationships at Iowa and Iowa State, at University of Wisconsin, at University of Nebraska at Omaha and Lincoln. But this year I'm going down to K-State, Kansas State, and KU to see what their computer science programs are like, and if it's worth spending, 2 career fairs a year going down there to recruit students. And
do you come out eastboard at all?
No, not much. We were going to come out to Maryland, but we haven't at this point. It's just because we don't have the resources to do it yet. So when you start school, I'm going to come to your school though. So for sure. So you're RN, Christian.
But I was just gonna say I've already passed the employee exam phase 1 and 2, and I don't have to retake them.
No, and what Christian's referring to is at Gallup we have a phone interview and a web assessment interview that's very, very selective. And so once you're through it though, you're through it. I won't say for life, but pretty darn close. And so Christian's in like Flynn, and we'll see someday maybe he'll be a Gallup employee.
Oh, you saw the temporary look. He was waiting for the reaction. He was waiting. He was seeing if there was a fish to be found.
Well, you work for NASA right now, man. It's a little hard to compete with aerospace and people who send astronauts to the moon, right?
Yes.
And robots to Mars. So, anyways, that's what we do. Let's see. So now that I'm completely sidetracked, Christian, you got a few things to cover in there. Pick one of those and go with it.
Ooh, I get to pick one. You pick one. All right. What do I want to pick? Well, we already covered that. Okay, so the most interesting thing, I guess, is that I'm intrigued by the fact that Amazon's top-selling laptop is not any Windows 8 product. It's not any Mac OS X product, but is in fact the Chromebook, which, for the ridiculously cheap price and the ease of use, apparently, with people really liking and getting used to the Chrome web browser, apparently it's more or less the same style as the Chrome browser. So people are just loving it for the price and, having a quick reader, and apparently it's the #1 seller to the point where the price went up from like $249 to $317 because apparently they're selling like hotcakes. So I find that interesting that Google has, and I don't know if it's even fair to call it a lower end market, because I feel like the market share they're picking up is market share that should potentially be going to things like iPads and Surfaces. So clearly they've found a place in the market where for a very cheap price they can get a high yield, which I think is affecting in some way. I don't know if it's how adversely rather, with Microsoft and Apple. So that's something to watch.
I think, you know what, in the last 2 weeks I've had a couple people come up to me and say, what do you know about a Chromebook? And I was like, what? It's not like Chromebooks are new.
But all of a sudden they're getting real popular.
Yeah, but is this just the netbook phase that we had 2 years ago when these low-end netbooks came out and everybody bought them and realized they were crap?
But something's got to be different this time, because all those things have been out on the market for that long. So why would a netbook style laptop be doing so well in a tablet touchscreen market?
Is the world more connected? Is the world more connected than it was 2 years ago when they first tried?
Well, yes.
Because one of the issues with a Chromebook in Australia is the cost of connectivity.
Mm-hmm. And has that changed significantly in the last 2 years for you guys?
It's coming down, but we still don't have unlimited data plans on mobile devices.
What's the availability of Wi-Fi though?
In
Limited.
Melbourne, it's pretty hit and miss. Yeah.
Okay. For you, Renny?
Same. Yeah.
Same kind of hit or miss. Okay. See,
Very
I would say here in the U.S. I can get Wi-Fi just about anywhere now. I mean, I can go
Yeah.
to Walmart and get Wi-Fi.
That's true. Even in airports, I was really impressed at, and surprisingly, a lot of them have gone to free because the recent traveling I've been doing, they've more and more been free. The one that I thought was the most attractive business model was in the Atlanta, Georgia airport, which I absolutely hated the concourse that I was at because just all the food places were terrible the way they had it laid out and stuff. But in any case, the one thing that was smart for them to do is what they do to kind of suck you into I must purchase, is they let you connect to the internet for free, and Google comes up and you think, all right, this is sweet, and then all of a sudden you go to some more obscure site like yahoo.com, and then all of a sudden it says, hey, guess what? You're not a premium user of our internet service, but guess what? For $4.99 you can be for 24 hours, and who's going to be in our airport for 24 hours? So, of course, in my need to upload the last of my college applications and not have to worry about my cell phone dying on the wireless modem, I said, $4.99 sounds like a fantastic price. And guess what I did? I got out the card, put in the numbers, and away it went. So if there's a bunch of people like me, which there aren't, but if there are a bunch of potential internet people running around sitting for 3-hour layovers like I was, saying, this is boring, and having their laptops out and saying, I could not be bored, then I would imagine they're making a ton of money off that model, as opposed to stuff like GoGo Flight, which is like $10 minimum and that kind of stuff, where I think people hear the double digits and they're instantly turned off. Oh, I'm not going to pay for that. I'm just going to use my cell phone. But I think $4.99 is that like that happy price point where people feel empowered, because I certainly did, and that doesn't happen very often. So
what I have found is I won't pay $4.99 in the airport. Doesn't matter how long I'm there for. There's something wrong about that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but
doesn't it?
But I'll pay $4.99. I'll trip over myself to pay $4.99 on the aircraft. Right? I mean, it's
for less bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a little. I was just sitting here thinking about it as you were talking about it, Christian. And I'm like, yeah, no, I've had that happen too. I go to the airport. Yeah, no, I'm not going to pay. And you sit there, where you have time. You probably wait there longer sometimes than anything. But I get on the plane, man. I'm throwing money at them to get Wi-Fi access on the plane. So, and I guess it's because of the cool factor of being at 30,000 feet and being on Wi-Fi. So it is back to that point. It is getting easier to get Wi-Fi. I always feel like sometimes our discussion are like the movie Inception. You just go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you got to start backing back out to get back to the point. Wi-Fi is getting more Wi-Fi availability in the U.S. rather than less. Mike Martis said in chat, and I think maybe this is the first time ever I agree with Mike Martis, is that not really, just kidding.
Notarize it, somebody.
No, not really. I'm not kidding. I agree. I think this Chromebook phase, whatever's going on right now, is a lot like the netbook craze, and I think people are going to get these in their hands and realize they really can't do that much with them. And then they're going to have these cheap things in their hands. So I don't know, Christian. You're right. They are selling like crazy right now. But I don't know if they're that great of machines.
They're not. But the problem is that we're not buying machines nowadays. We're buying into an ecosystem.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you have your Android phone, Jim.
Yes.
And I do love that cup you have too. I believe that was a New Jersey Devils.
No.
Anyway.
Welcome to the Big Ten, my friend.
Next year. But anyway, I think it's all ecosystem now. So if everything is sitting there, you're using your Android phone, everything's there, Gmail and Google Plus, and whatever it might be. You're in that ecosystem. So if you get the the netbook or Chromebook, whatever you want to call it now, you're using the same thing. You're basically you're just using services that you're getting from Google. That's how I look at it.
Yeah,
it's an ecosystem.
No, I agree. But from a connectivity standpoint, I'll just leave it there. I think you're right on that one. So, anything else on the Chromebook? Any other thoughts? All right, Andrew, you got you recently got something working at home that changed the way you get wireless. What'd you do?
Yeah. We've been running 2 SSIDs throughout the house since we moved here, and part of the problem was compatibility issues between routers. Renny sort of prompted me with this with his expansion of his wireless zone a few weeks back. So we had our cable modem's got a BGN wireless hotspot in it, and the one I had at the other end of the house was only BG. So not up to 300 megabit wireless. So I couldn't seamlessly move up and down the house with the same SSID without it dropping out or just staying connected at the other end. So $58 for a little TP-Link router, which supports the BGN wireless protocols. Configured it up, disabled DHCP, and voila! I've got a full SSID up and down the house and full strength all round now.
So it'll just switch from one to the other, will it?
Yeah, it just switches up as I walk up and down the house seamlessly. It's beautiful.
So you have the same
channel? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, same. No, I've got them set to auto channel, and auto channel, and just the particular encryption on both is set the same. So they're both running WPA2 personal, and TKP or AES depending on which one the hotspot picks at the time. But Windows 7 and Windows 8 will move up and down between them quite happily. So will Android.
Same SSID, same password.
Yep.
For both. That's required, right? They'd have to be exactly the same. And then
So previously I had the same SSID and the same password, but it should, because it wasn't on the same frequency. It wasn't on the same frequency or the same version of the wireless protocol, wireless standard. It was showing me two SSIDs in the house on the same name.
So if I had two wireless routers of the same brand, right, or the same model, right? Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be an issue. Then I've never thought of doing that, of setting up, if you have connectivity problems, you can set them up in the same spot, share the SSID and the password, and you're saying if the wireless protocol is the same, it'll switch between them without any issues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Exactly.
I did not know that. Yep. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
So previously I had this old crappy Netgear that I think we'd had kicking around for 6 or 7 years, and upgraded it to a little TP-Link WR1043ND. TP-Link, for those who don't know, is a little, well, not so little company out of China now who are apparently casting all the dies for Netgear and Netcom as well.
Okay.
And their products are pretty good.
They make some good gear.
Yeah, they're pretty close to bulletproof for the price.
Mm-hmm.
We covered them a little bit. Dave stopped by the booth. One of the videos out there has TP-Link in it. So if you want to go back to the YouTube videos from CES coverage, go to youtube.com/homeservershow, and I think I labeled it TP-Link, and so you can go out and take a peek at that. That might be worth looking at. That's kind of cool. I hadn't put 2 and 2 together at that point, Andrew. I just run one D-Link's 655 that I got. It was one of those deals that I got on Newegg for $30. It was a refurb, and it's running great. That works. It's 3 antenna, and it gets everything here in the house. So we're good here. I just need one, but that's
you haven't seen Andrew's house though.
It's gigantic.
It's a massive 4-bedroom Australian house.
But it's got huge solar panels on the top. So Andrew, we haven't talked about your solar panels in a while. It's summertime. You got to be cranking out power like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, we are. We're doing pretty well. We're averaging around about 30 kilowatt hours a day generation. Since we've had the babies, we're running an air conditioning unit a lot of the time as well, so we're not exporting as much as
you were
not
before.
exporting as much as we were before. But we're still keeping even, and I think we're about $500 ahead on our bill so far this year.
Oh, very good.
Which isn't too bad.
Yeah, no, very good. Yeah, it's good stuff. We hadn't. Are you still checking it all the time online?
Oh, I can if I need to. Yeah, it's one of those things. When you first get it, you look at it every day and every hour and every other hour, and I think once you've had it in for a while, you sort of the novelty wears off.
Right. No.
Kind of like looking at it's like looking at a new car.
Yeah. No, for sure. There are those things that you look at. You check them, you get them set up. It's like when you first create your own website and you're trying to get people to come to it, and so you're checking the traffic every day. And you're all obsessed over it, and then it's like every other day, and then all of a sudden there comes a day when you realize, oh crap, I haven't checked that all month. And it's a lot like that for sure. So the other thing we saw, speaking of wireless, we saw a lot of wireless cameras that from D-Link, and I think TP-Link had some. I have to remember. And they're marrying these, right? They're selling these together with these NAS boxes. So it's like, get your storage, get your cameras, get your storage. Bill, do you guys have any cameras out at the shop? You guys use those?
Yeah, we just use ADT rather. We got a 13 or 16 or 13 camera system that we can look at our iPads from whatever computers. At the house we have 3 of them here, but they're old. They're really old, and it hasn't come out. Like, we're still using like this. You go look at your house and it's like blocky. It's like it's like a bad side scroller from Nintendo. But the new ones are a lot better. Now you have the through point. You
just said side scroller.
Yes,
and Nintendo in the same sentence. That's awesome.
That's pretty nice. It wasn't Super Nintendo either. It was the NES.
The original. God, we're old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to start calling this the Old Guys Podcast. Christian, you're out.
Yeah. Let me tell you about my VIC 20.
Welcome to the Old Guys Podcast, show number 102. Yeah, well, a lot of new IP cameras and Wi-Fi cameras as well at CES. So some pretty cool.
The something I saw down too.
Oh yeah. What? And I don't even know how much they are. What would I expect to pay for a wireless camera at this point if I wanted to?
My dog camera for my wife, I should say, is a pan tilt.
What did you say?
The dog camera for my wife.
That one,
Okay.
Be careful how you interpret that one.
I have like two people at work that listen to this podcast. I'm in trouble. Yes. Yeah. Ren, you got room? So anyway, it does pan tilt. She can hear the dogs. She can actually talk back to the dogs from work. And that's an older Linksys, and that one, you can't buy it now, but back then it was probably close to $200.
Okay.
But it had good features, so.
Yeah, it moves around, and it's got a speaker in it and all that stuff, right?
Yeah, it's cute.
All right, Tim put $300, so $200 to $300 maybe for a pretty decent wireless cam. Mm-hmm. Christian, did you ever put those cameras up in that park that you were talking about like a year ago?
Oh, the wireless repeaters? No.
Yeah. You never did do that?
Nah.
Okay, it's a good discussion.
Yeah, because actually the city was decided to put in wireless, I think, but that was another thing I was going to talk about, the wireless discussion. You can get a lot of outside hotspots now that are just for like parks and stuff.
Yeah, city municipalities are starting to put those in, as well as a lot. I mean, most restaurants have them both in and out. I mean, you can just pull up in the parking lot and get Wi-Fi.
And isn't Google supposed to start free internet in Kansas City or something like that?
No, not free.
It's Chelsea.
It's say that again, Renny?
I thought it was Chelsea in New York they were going to do it. That's where their office is in New York.
Yeah, no, Kansas City's the gigabit initiative to get everybody gigabit fiber up and down. And actually my son, my college son, he lives in the area where they're getting gigabit Ethernet. So that they're still 8 or 9 months away, but I'm already carving out a place to live down there. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm gonna have to go to Kansas City again this weekend.
I mean, all the DC servers are like that. They're all running T3 lines too.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my data analytics servers get a gigabyte up and like around 700 down, which is pretty good.
Yeah, like I said, here in the U.S., I think it's easy to get. It's we used to drive around and do, what did they call that, war driving, and you'd see who would be open and have an open access point and all that stuff. Well, now it's just so easy to get free, secure, whatever, or what's unsecure because you can just sign into it. But I mean, it's just free to get Starbucks or whatever. I mean, Chipotle, like I said, I think you can get wireless at Walmart, and it's just as easy to find it now at this point. I went to the chiropractor yesterday, and he's got Wi-Fi available. I'm there like 10 minutes. So, it's kind of like, all right, Tom, whatever. But,
Is it just me in my area? But basically all the 3 major cable providers put up wireless hotspots at like every quarter mile down every road. So,
really?
So yeah, Cablevision, Time Warner, and Comcast had put this up, and they signed agreements to allow each other on each other's network. So I just use my one login and password for Cablevision. I can get on Comcast, Time Warner, anywhere. I can get. I barely use any data on my cell phone.
On the street?
On the street, across from work, I can actually, instead of using a work Wi-Fi, if I'm out like kind of far in the parking lot, boom, I can hit theirs. I thought everyone did that now.
No, not happening here yet. No. But so maybe that'd be interesting to see how widespread that is outside your area. Yeah, and the guys in Australia are like drooling. They're like, "Oh, we can't even get it in a restaurant."
Dream on. Yeah.
You go to a restaurant to have a meal with your wife. You don't go to a restaurant to pull out the laptop and surf porn or download a movie or something.
There's work to be done, man. You need. And you go to the Outback, a really Australian restaurant.
They'll eat them down there. Renny told me.
Yeah, it's all true.
Everything's true at the Outback.
Tastes like chicken.
Oh my gosh! All right, good stuff.
And koalas taste like eucalyptus leaves.
I smell like them too.
All right. It's been a long week, guys. That's hilarious. All right, one more thing, and then we'll call it.
How'd your Twitter bashing go, Jim?
The what? The which one?
Your Twitter bashing.
What do you mean?
You've got a link in the show notes here about a Twitter bashing site.
About a Twitter bashing site?
Yeah, so Google bashing's when you look yourself up on Google. So
yeah, we call that an ego search. But yes. So well, that's not the one I was going to talk about. But if you go out to I found this site just kind of by accident. Maybe I was Googling myself, and and if you go to TWTRLAND, which I think is just short for Twitterland, TWTRland.com, it gives you some stats on, and you have to authorize it for your Twitter account. It kind of starts pulling in some stats about what you do out on Twitter. So it'll tell you how many tweets per day, the number of retweets per 100. And so if you want to see if you're popular out there and people are retweeting your stuff, you can do that. Or the number of replies per 100. So again, another popularity thing. And then it's got some tags on some things that might interest you based on the things that show up in your Twitter stream. And then it's got the Twitter stats in it. But I thought that was kind of interesting. One of those like clout, that kind of measure, right? That kind of measure how important you are on the web. And
I'm not very important.
You just don't tweet enough, Andrew.
Okay. Apparently, I've got 149 followers, and I follow 293, which I thought was exceptionally high. And I tweet on average twice a day.
Yeah, that's me too. Mine says twice.
Yeah.
I have 21 retweets per 100. God.
I'll say that when you're drunk.
Yes, and I might be right now, actually.
I get none. So you're doing better than me.
And then, you have none, and I have
Yeah,
46. 46 replies per 100. So kind of cool. Check that out, and you have to sign in with your Twitter account to get that done. And not a bad little site to give it a try. No, the last thing I wanted to talk about was something we saw at CES that was very interesting to me, because I used to do this with a company called Voila. So WUALA.com. Which was a French company. It got bought by LaCie, and then they got bought by Seagate. So everything got combined. But what Voila used to do is you could get storage by giving away storage. So you would give Voila a certain amount of your storage, and then they would give you free storage in the cloud. And I think it was 1-for-1 in that day. So if I gave them a terabyte of space, they would give me back on their servers a terabyte of space. And what they would do is they would replicate. So in their data centers for backup, they would only keep one copy of your data. The second copy would be replicated out across other people's PCs in little tiny bits, so that no one person could reconstruct your data from one particular PC. They kind of blast that out. In the case of this Symform, Symform, this is what we saw yesterday, and there's an interview on the YouTube channel over at Home Server Show. What you see in Symform is they spread your data across 96 nodes, and so it's spread out, and it's encrypted in 256-bit encryption, and it's spread out across 96 nodes, so it can't be reconstructed. So no one could go to one node and get any bit of your data that would make any sense. And so when you share your local storage, so you give them, let's just use terabytes. I'm going to give them 2 terabytes of data to store things on. They're going to give me a terabyte in the cloud then to back my stuff up on. And so if you're one of those who doesn't want to pay for, say you have a lot of storage and you don't want to necessarily pay for it in the cloud, you have a lot of local storage, you could give these guys some of your local storage, and they will give you in a 2-to-1 ratio some of that, some space up in the cloud to back up your data up there. They encrypt it there, and then they blast it out across all their other users as well in these little tiny bits that can be reconstructed if the data ever needs to be recovered. So I found it kind of interesting. Besides Voila, I had never seen another company, and we call this kind of like social or crowd backup, right? Because you were sending your data bits out to the crowd to kind of be backed up. After Voila tried it, they shut it down and said, nah, let's just have people pay for it. They can come to our data centers. So I was very, very surprised when I saw the Symform today. Before right now, had any of you guys heard about this product at all? And what do you think about crowd storage for your data?
I looked it up when I saw the show notes this morning, and yeah, novel idea, not a bad sort of business plan, I suppose. But given my predicament, shall we say, just wonder what it does to your bandwidth.
Right.
As you say, if you give up a terabyte of storage, that's a lot of data that's going to hit your network and or hit your
capped
internet
bandwidth.
connection.
Yeah, because you lose control, right? Yeah, you lose control of. You are no longer in control of what's coming on, what's coming and going from your server, because they're constantly moving data onto your server and then retrieving it, right? So yeah, I think if you're metered, this is definitely a tough plan. But for those of us unlimited data, Bill, I know you're on an unlimited plan, right?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And would you do something like this?
Yeah, it depends. And I caught the tail end of this on your CES coverage. How were they trying to make money off of this model?
I was so busy producing at that point. I even after we asked that question, I'm not sure I really listened. I'd have to go back and listen to it.
All right, I'll have to look.
Yeah,
that would be my question.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. So I think they're doing this is a little novel idea to get things started. Same with Voila. They really want to sell, and they have some enterprise customers that they store the data with as well. I think they've purchased these big storage. They made these big storage contracts, and they have enterprise customers, and they're finding ways to take advantage of the little bits on the side of their enterprise stuff where they can store consumer data, right? And so, hey, we'll give this up, and we've got this novel idea where we can spread this thing around. And I still don't know. I need to look into it a little bit. I was going to try and install it in between 5 and 8 o'clock tonight and see what it looked like, but I didn't get a chance. So
that's an interesting notion, that, isn't it? Because if you've got, say, a SAN that's got a petabyte total capacity, that you have to, say, recover the cost of the entire unit, and you've only got, say, 300 terabytes consumed space, it means that you've got that extra overhead that you can then off-sell on the side, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, it's a good business model, and you can sell for cheap. The enterprise has already paid. The enterprise business has already paid for the full storage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good one, that.
You know, and it's here's the interesting part about this that I hadn't really thought about until just now. When you go to restore, it almost acts like a BitTorrent when it pulls that data, because your data is spread out all across other people's nodes. And when you go to restore a file, it's got to pull that data from all the various nodes, which it does check for bandwidth. This is, as we were talking about them, it doesn't allow slow connections to keep data on them. So there's some minimum data or minimum speed requirements for you to be considered a node. But if you had from a restoring your data standpoint, if your files are larger, you have a greater advantage of getting that data back faster, because it's pulling that from, and it's acting like a BitTorrent basically at that point when it puts that data back together.
As long as the computers where your data is stored are actually on. I mean, we're on the opposite side of the clock over here, and people turn off their computers. You might only get 2 guys with all your data, and it's going to take 3 years to download.
Then you're screwed. Yeah, no, I don't know all the ins and outs. That's certainly the case. I think the way Walla did it is they put it in. They put each bit. So say you had a piece of data, and they could break it up into 100 bits. Bit 99 or bit 1 would go to 7 different places, and so they could, or there's an algorithm they use that says, and so it'd be in 7 different places, and then they would pull, when you would request that, it would do a quick check. Okay, where's the fastest place? And then bam, it would start downloading that and reconstructing that back on your PC. So there's both. Tim Black says, yes, sounds like a BitTorrent. It's a lot like a BitTorrent. Then Mike says may have some trouble getting that back. I think it might, in some cases, it might be faster for larger files to get those back because of the BitTorrent-like activity, right?
But it depends where they seed your data to as well, wouldn't it? So if your data's all seeded in one spot, and then that one spot gets turned off, like Renny was saying, you kind of...
Yeah, I don't think that can be the model. I think it's got to be spread around. I think they've got to take into account, people turn their PCs off or lose power.
It's got to be multiply seeded, yeah.
Yeah, because he did say in the interview, and again, you can go back and listen to the whole interview on the YouTube channel. He did say when Bill had all his power problems on the East Coast, and everybody was out of power, and there were mass riots and food shortages, and gasoline was in short demand, right, Bill?
It was crazy.
Yeah. Dogs and cats living together. They said they didn't have any problem getting their data back at that point because they had seeded that in other places. So that to them that wasn't a disruption when they started losing data centers or bits of data being stored about. So certainly worth a look at, I think. A novel idea, and I'd be interested in your feedback of whether you actually trust something like that or not. Symform, SYMFORM.com. We just did that interview today on CES, and I would certainly be interested. I think it's a novel idea. It will get added to the Cloud Storage Know It guide out at theaverageguy.tv. If you go out to the site on the right-hand side and you look, there's an orange box that says Cloud Storage, and a couple of you guys have been really helpful in giving me suggestions on new cloud storage. I mentioned this, I think, in the podcast last night. We're not getting less free cloud storage offers. We're getting more, it seems like. I thought the day of 5 gig free and 10 gig free were over, and yet it seems like these free cloud services are popping up more and more. LogMeIn just came up with Cubby. That's available. They give you 7 gig for free. This Symform gives you 10 gig for free. We didn't even mention that. You just sign up and you get 10 gig. That's not even this crowd storage thing. It's just 10 gig free on their servers, and 10 gig free is the most I've seen so far for the standard offering. So that's available out there as well. Give it a peek. And if you've got some more additions you want to add to the cloud storage note guide, let me know. Send me an email, podcast@theaverageguy.tv, or just leave a comment at the bottom of the cloud storage post. And I think I'm up to like 15 different services, and I still have about 8 or 9 more to go to kind of flesh them out and add them to the cost matrix and all that stuff. So check that out while you are out there. All right, guys, we've come to the end. We've gone long enough. I appreciate all you guys coming out tonight. I will remind folks that if they want to interact with the show, I just mentioned it, podcast@theaverageguy.tv. If you're not automatically receiving the podcast and you want to, plenty of ways to do that. Probably the easiest way is through a product like Stitcher, or you can subscribe to the YouTube video. I was wondering who is hollering in the background. Is that you, Bill?
No, that's my son.
Is that one of yours? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm getting blamed for everything today.
Yes. Yeah. You're the scapegoat tonight, Bill. So only because I know you had to step away for a second because somebody got out of bed. So
It's all good.
But you can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe as well, and of course, all those ways get those things automatic. If you're out at the social sites and you like what we do from a podcast standpoint, give us a +1 like, all those other good things, and that helps us in the search rankings. I won't drag this on any longer. I will remind you, though, real quick, Mario Blandini next week from Drobo, and then on the 24th of January, that's an Out of Sync podcast. That's a Monday night. Ray Ortega from Ray Ortega from I've forgotten where he's from. Podcasters Studio. There we go. Podcasterstudio.com. Ray will be on with us, and we'll get a chance to talk about podcasting and some of the mechanics of podcasting. Renny, great to have you back here in the or have you out of the United States? No, I'm just kidding. Great to have you back on the show, and glad that you had a good time here in the U.S.
Absolutely, and thanks to you both, yourself and Dave, for that great CES coverage. I was watching you the other night, and I was just waiting for your head to hit the keyboard. You were that tired.
Oh man, I was. Yeah, it was Monday night, I think, and I hadn't slept well the night before, and it was like 11:30, and I was like.
Yeah. Champion effort, my friend. Champion effort.
Well, thank you. It was all a good time. Christian, they're killing you at school, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah. Last 2 weeks, I'm getting the "I'm tired" Christian body language. I'm not talking very much. Just let me sleep through the podcast. But good to have you on the podcast as well, and thanks for coming out. Bill, always good to have you on, and thanks for chiming in during the coverage too. I'd always get the "Hey, I'm on my way home." Email in chat. Thanks for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Andrew, good to have you too. I'm sorry I excluded you from the hangout in the very beginning, and it is.
It's all right. I was feeling a little unloved at first.
No, it is personal. I just want you to know that it is personal. So, guys, thanks for coming out tonight. This will officially conclude the end of CES coverage, and for all of those of you who came to listen to the podcast that had listened to CES, and maybe you've never heard a Home Tech podcast before. Not every week is this crazy, but most of them. And we'd love to have you as a listener. Head out to theaverageguy.tv, and if you want to subscribe to it, there's all kinds of different ways to it. We're back again next Thursday night, 8 p.m. Central, right here at theaverageguy.tv/live. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good one.
All right, gents, thank you very much. I normally would encourage an after-show discussion, but
it's my bedtime. I'm so wiped out.
Yeah, I can't say another word.
What's that, Jim? The caffeine drips run dry, has it?
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
I was supposed to remind you to mention the SkyDrive camera roll. I put it in the show notes.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mentioned it, I think, a little bit up front, and I've been talking about it all week. So
What is it?
it's all good. Oh, Dave's been taking pictures on his Lumia 920, and then they automatically go to the SkyDrive. Actually, Tim Black did this right before the show too. So you can move it to the camera roll in SkyDrive, and then that's a public. You can turn that public facing, so you can share it. It gives you an embed link. And Dave just put that embed link in at homeservershow.com/live at the very bottom of the page. And then you can see all the pictures he's taken at CES. It worked out really well. I mean, it was one of those things that I think now that we know how well that works, I think it would be nice to one of the things you could do is man 2 or 3 people with cameras and just have them walk around CES just taking pictures all day.
The Samsung Galaxy camera.
What do you mean?
Running ice cream sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that getting advertised like crazy over there at the moment? They're flogging it over here.
The camera?
Yeah, the Jelly Bean.
Yeah. No, I think I saw that. No, I know what you're talking about. It's not the phone. It's an actual camera.
Yeah, it's actually
running Jelly Bean. Yeah. Yeah, well, you could do that. I mean, if it had Wi-Fi connectivity, the intent though is that it automatically moves those pictures up, and all you have to do is refresh your browser, and the new pictures come in. And so that was pretty cool.
Oh, we looked at the Zotac, so I want one of them.
The pictures were dynamite off that Lumia, so they really came. All right, I cannot pimp another thing about CES. I will dig my ears out. I am done, and we'll get this podcast out. And actually, I mentioned that early in the show. I'm done, guys. Thanks for everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for coming on. I'm killing this, and you guys will soon go away, and I will have. I'm going to dream about podcasting tonight.
I sure hope not.
The dream will be that I'm podcasting and I can't ever stop, and that actually I might be in the dream right now.
That's not a dream, I don't think.
That's a nightmare. I'll have guests that are out of control. I'll have guests. I'll have one guest that's sleeping during the podcast, and another that's smoking.
Andrew and I are both going to go topless.
Yes. Yeah. Andrew will take his shirt off.
Did you tell him about that, did you?
I did tell him I called you the other day, and you had your shirt off.
That's how he started his show.
I thought, you know what? Andrew must be pretty comfortable with me at this point.
You're lucky I had pants on, because it was Pants Off Friday at the time.
Oh, jeez.
I like it.
Okay, then. Hey, congratulations again.
If you shaved your head just a little bit more and took the glasses off and got a black hat, you would totally pass for an observer.
A what?
An observer.
Observer.
What's an observer?
Oh, come on. Don't tell me no one here has watched Fringe.
No.
Sorry.
Come on, Christian. This is the old
guys.
guy.
I was just going to say, you guys must really live up to that name.
You old people.
This is the old guy podcast. Let's see. Live stream, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for coming out. Have a great night. And YouTubers, you as well. Have a great night.